Welcome students. Welcome to the class of Physical Pharmaceutics. In the chapter Solubility of Drugs, today we are going to discuss diffusion in biological systems. First we will see the definition of diffusion. Diffusion is the movement of solute particles from higher concentration to lower concentration. So whenever the solute particles move from higher concentration to lower concentration, that phenomenon we call it as a diffusion. We'll look in day-to-day life that what is diffusion. Suppose we take a glass of water and add a drop of ink to it. Eventually when time passes, you can see this ink get dispersed, and at the end you will find that it is homogeneously mixed in the water, that in everywhere the concentration of this ink will be the same. So this is moment of solute, that is ink. Here ink is solute because it is in less concentration as per definition of solution, and water is solvent. So the moment of solute, that is ink, from higher concentration to the areas of lower concentration until the equilibrium is established. When the concentration of solute in every corner of this glass will be equal or similar, then the diffusion process will be stopped. So we can say that at that time the net moment of the solute particles will be zero. Means there will be moment of the particles, but the net output of the moment will be zero. So this process is called as diffusion. So one question may arise in mind of student that how this diffusion take place. Generally diffusion is called as a passive process because it doesn't require any energy. Diffusion, we can see in this glass, we have not given any energy to this glass. So how these molecules are moving from one place to another place without energy? So if we say it is a passive process and it don't require energy, it will be the not following the law of conservation of energy. So whenever there is a movement of particles, definitely there is energy required. So how the diffusion is taking place and what kind of energy is helping these particles to move? So here the phenomenon of Brownian moment takes place. So what is actually a Brownian moment? It is a Brownian moment is a moment of particles of solute as well as solvent, every particles in solution, from one place to another place. It is a continuous kinetic moment. So whenever there is a particular solution, the particles are continuously in kinetic moment or kinetic velocity, and that moment is called as Brownian moment. So what is the reason behind the Brownian moment? From where the energy for Brownian moment is got? So Brownian moment is taken from the thermal energy. Even if this glass is at is not given any energy, but at a room temperature also it is having some 25 degrees Celsius of temperature, and this temperature is also sufficient, or this thermal energy is also sufficient for the movement of these particles. Hence the temperature is a driving force, or thermal energy is a driving force for the Brownian moment, and Brownian moment is the reason for the diffusion. So when there will be absolute zero temperature, then only there will be no diffusion possible. So diffusion, we can explain diffusion with one more animation here. If a glass container is there and water is filled with it, you can see in this animation how the movement of solutes is taking place from higher concentration to the lower concentration. As per the definition of diffusion, it is the movement of solute molecules from an area of higher concentration to the lower concentration until the equilibrium stage is reached. Now we will move towards laws of diffusion, in which first we will see Fick's first law of diffusion. So what is this law? Fick's first law states that the flux is directly proportional to the concentration gradient. Flux means the rate at which the molecules or atoms are moving in that solution is called as flux. Flux is generally denoted by J. It is number of atoms per area per time. That is a unit for flux, and which is directly proportional to the concentration gradient. Concentration gradient means change in the higher concentration and what is the difference between the higher concentration and lower concentration. If there will be more difference between higher concentration and lower concentration, the particles will move more with more speed, or more mass transfer will be there. Means we can say the flux will be more. If the difference between the concentration gradients is more, flux will be more. So this is the first law of Fick's. It is said that J is proportional to the dc by dx. dc by dx is nothing but the concentration gradient. So what is dc and what is dx? dc is change in concentration of material. So what is the change in concentration? What is the higher concentration and what is the lower concentration? The difference between that is nothing but dc. More will be the difference, more will be the flux. And dx is change in the distance, means at what distance the particle has to travel. Suppose in earlier example we have added a drop of ink in a glass of water. If that it in few minutes it will disperse in the glass, but if we add same drop in 500 ml 500 liter of barrel of water, then it will take more time to distribute or diffuse that ink drop in that liquid. So because the distance will increase, so as the distance will increase, the flux will decrease. So by this equation we can say J is equal to minus d dc by dx. Here is d is added, which is nothing but diffusion coefficient, which depends upon the nature of particular penetrant or solute. You can say what is the quality or what is the nature of solute. Depending upon that, the diffusion coefficient will change. So this is Fick's first law of diffusion. Then we will discuss factors affecting diffusion. First factor which is affecting diffusion is definitely concentration gradient. In this law we have discussed concentration gradients. If the difference between the concentration is much higher, then it will definitely increase the rate of diffusion. Second is particle size or molecular size of particular solute. If the solute particle is small or molecular mass of solute is small, then faster will be diffusion. Means higher molecules have the diffusion rate is less for heavy molecules or larger molecules. Then temperature, as we have seen, the Brownian moment is indirectly the thermal energy. So if temperature is increased for a particular solution, the diffusion rate will be definitely increasing. Next is surface area. This factor will affect when the diffusion is taking place across the particular membrane. If there is membrane involved in it and across the membrane diffusion taking place, then surface area of that membrane will playing important role, or which is an important factor. And next is thickness of the membrane. These two red factors are get involved only when the diffusion is taking place across the membrane. The thickness of membrane will be higher, the diffusion will be slower or less. Next we will discuss steady state diffusion or sink condition. For this we have to understand biological membrane. For example, suppose this membrane in this animation is an intestinal membrane. It is a membrane of intestine, for example, and if we give drug to particular person, the drug get inside the GIT tract and it get dissolved and it try to pass this intestinal barrier and reaches to the blood. Other side of intestine is nothing but blood capillaries. So when drug enters from stomach or intestine and crosses the membrane of intestine and reaches the blood, we can say the drug is absorbed. If you apply the steady diffusion principle here, what will happen? The concentration of drug from higher to lower, it will transfer to blood until there will be equilibrium. So when there will be equilibrium, then what happen? There will be no diffusion as per the diffusion principle. So what will happen if you take a particular milligram, 500 milligram of drug, only 250 milligram will transfer, and when equilibrium stage is reached, the drug transfer will not be there. So the 50% drug will be wasted, but it would not happen in body. Why? Because there is always a steady state diffusion or sink condition. Sink condition means the sink which we observe in a kitchen. When we open the tap, and water is started from the tap, the water will continuously moving out of the sink, and sink will never fill. It will not fill with the water. So same effect is sink effect is observed in intestine. What happens? Whatever drug reaches in the blood, it will not remain there. Some of the drug from the blood will always get removed, and always there will be less concentration in the blood of drug. Hence the flux will be there, higher concentration to lower concentration. The blood will be removed from the blood. The drug will be removed from blood by various ways. The drug may be gone to target tissue where the action is required, or the drug may go to other organs, and or the drug may go for excretion through kidneys. So whenever the concentration of drug from blood reduces, there will be always less concentration or lower concentration maintained in the blood. So this is the recipient compartment, and this is the donor compartment. So always drug will be more moving from higher concentration to lower concentration, as the lower concentration of the recipient compartment is always maintained by removing the drug from that compartment, and this continuous removing makes this condition called as sink condition or steady state diffusion, as the diffusion continues or it remains steady. So this is a steady state diffusion. Lastly, we will discuss application of diffusion. So what is use of knowledge of diffusion, or what we can make with this function or principle of diffusion? First, by using diffusion, we can study diffusion of drugs from dosage forms. When we swallow various dosage forms like tablets, capsules, or suspensions, all drugs or dosage forms get diffused. Diffusion is very necessary. Then the drug will show solubility or transfer of drug from absorption of drug from the body. So this diffusion principle will help to understand the release of drug from the dosage form. Second application is understanding absorption of drug through GIT or skin. Here in this example we have seen this membrane, for example intestinal membrane. So there may be some medicines which are applied to skin also. So there is again this biological membrane or biological barrier. So understanding this absorption of drug through these membranes, we have to understand this phenomenon of diffusion. Next application is to study diffusion of drugs in various tissues and excretions. Here we can say when the drug is reached to blood, it can goes to other organs also. So how this drug acts on other organs or other tissues, and how it get excreted through kidneys or any other organ, that study we can do by studying the principle of diffusion. And lastly, to understand various processes like ultrafiltration, dialysis, etc. And one more, determine molecular weight of polymer by studying diffusion. As we have seen that higher the molecular weight, lesser will be the diffusion rate. So we can determine diffusion rate, and from that diffusion rate we can say that polymer, how much will be the molecular weight of that polymer. So these are the application for which we can utilize the knowledge of diffusion in pharmacy. So in next lecture we will discuss solubility of gases in liquid. Thank you.